Welcome dear students to lecture 4 in strategic management unit 3, and we will discuss today about the cooperative strategies under growth strategies, and today the focus of today's session will be joint ventures and strategic alliances. Now if you remember from the last 3 sessions, we have been talking about corporate strategies, and in that we were talking about the first type of strategies, that is the expansion or growth strategies. And we had said that there are 6 expansion strategies. First, expansion through concentration, expansion through diversification, expansion through integration, and then in the last class also we were talking about expansion through cooperation, and in today's class also we are continuing with expansion through cooperation. And in the last class we had discussed that there are 3 strategies for expansion through cooperation. The first is mergers and acquisitions, the second is joint ventures, and the third is strategic alliances. We have already discussed mergers and acquisitions. Now in today's class we will talk about joint ventures and strategic alliances. Now joint ventures, now the name itself is signaling that there are 2 parties which are coming together. So like in a merger or in an acquisition, a business arrangement in which 2 or more parties agree to pool resources for the purpose of accomplishing a specific task, right. So there is an objective, a specific objective, and these 2 parties, they come together to meet that particular objective. Now there is a difference between a merger acquisition and a joint venture, because in that case identity of either the 2 companies disappear or at least one gets merged into the other. But in a joint venture the parties come together or the companies come together to achieve certain specific objectives for certain purposes, but their individual identities do not get diluted. They still exist as totally, they do their own businesses, separate businesses, they exist as independent entities, but for a specific task, for a specific objective, they come together. The parties contribute equity and also share profits and losses. So in a joint venture, no single venturer is in a position to unilaterally control the activity or the entity. So there is no one who's having higher power than the other. So it is characterized by a contractual arrangement which establishes joint control. So the key word here is joint control, and there is also a contract here when the 2 parties are coming together. Now this can be formed between a domestic company or 2 domestic companies, or it can be formed between a foreign company and a domestic company. And both the firms, they can contribute financially, they can bring in financial resources together, they can bring human resource, for example they both have people specialized in different areas, and for a particular task people of both the speciality are required. So instead of having their own employees going for hiring and then paying them, it is much better and it is more economical that these 2 organizations come together, pool their resources, and they work together, right. So they can have, or they can bring together their physical assets, they can bring together financial assets, and they can bring their marketing strategies together, they can bring patents, trademarks in this joint venture. So it is not necessary that both the companies bring the same thing to the table. One is good at one, the other is good at the other. So in that case it is both of them will bring whatever they are required for to come together, right. And it is like a barter system basically, that the one person requires this, the other person requires this, and they come together and they pool in their resources together. So, that is why companies go for joint venture, because what happens in a merger, the commitment is very high. Commitment is very high because many times you may want a particular thing from another company, but you may not want the entire company. You are not neither you want to put in so much money in wanting the entire company. You just want their technical know-how. So why should you buy the entire company? So a better, and the other company is also not ready to come with you in terms of selling itself off to you. So what is the best option in that case? It is a win-win situation to go for a joint venture, right? So so the reasons why companies go for joint ventures are to access a new market, particularly emerging markets. So for example, some company wants to enter into a new country, right? Now it foresees that if I invest too much of resources and I move altogether into that new company, that would country, that would be a lot of risk. So it is better that it enters into a joint venture with a country's company, and what will happen as a result of that, they can bring their resources together, and that company can very easily test the market, and it can very easily know the potential of the market without putting too much at risk. Then to gain scale efficiencies by combining assets and operations. As I said that I do not want to invest so much of money in buying a company, I only just want a particular thing from that particular company. So what is happening as a result of that? You are not putting too much of money, and as a result of that your efficiency is increasing, your assets and operations are getting combined. Then the next is to share risk for major investments or projects. So when you are alone, the risk is entirely your own, and when there are 2, 3 or more companies with you, then the risk is shared. So it also helps in spreading the risk over, and to access skills and capabilities. So this is also as I said that you do not have human resources specialized in a particular area, in a particular technology, and you do not want to hire them also, because that would involve a lot of time and money. So you go for a joint venture with a company which has that kind of manpower with those technical skills. Now, some examples of joint ventures which are very, if you look into the I was reading in few websites that in India, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL has the highest number of joint ventures. So, and there are other examples of companies going for joint ventures, like for example Vistara Airlines. It has a good name in the airline market in India, aviation sector in India. And what is Vistara? Vistara is a joint venture between Tata and the Singapore Airlines, right? Singapore Airlines, and which has a 49% stake in Vistara, right? So Tata has a 51% stake in the company. So it is because it was started at a time when FDI was 100% FDI was not allowed. So this airlines wanted to move into India so it wanted to expand its operations into India. So the best bet for it was a joint venture with Tata. Tata is also again in the aviation sector. It has another joint venture, and I am sure you must be knowing, this is with the Malaysia's Air Asia, and here in India they operate as Air Asia India. So this is again a joint venture between Tata and the Air Asia, which is a Malaysian airline. Then another very important example is VE Commercial Vehicles Limited. Now VE Commercial Vehicles Limited, V stands for Volvo. I am sure you must have heard or read this name somewhere. So again it is a giant automobile giant, Volvo. It is a company which belongs to Sweden, and E stands for This is the company, the joint venture name is VE. So, V stands for Volvo and E stands for Eicher Motors. So, VE, this is a joint venture between Volvo and Eicher Motors. Then another very important joint venture in the case of healthcare is Apocos. Apocos is a joint venture between Apollo, which is one of the largest healthcare providers in the entire Asia, and COS, right. COS group is a group based in Italy. So, this is also in healthcare and this is also into healthcare and rehabilitation. So, this joint venture works for rehabilitation of patients, especially those who have faced injury or those who have orthopedic disorders. They work for the rehabilitation of this. So, here not unlike a a merger or an acquisition, neither Apollo has acquired COS nor the other way around. They are two different entities, two different companies still working their own areas, but only for a specific reason, for a specific objective they have come together. Or similarly in case of VE Motors also, they are two different entities or before that when we discussed say the Air Vistara. So, Vistara also, Tata still is an independent company, and Singapore Airlines, they also operate independently of Tata also in the world. So, but for a particular reason, for a particular thing, they have come together. So, there is no merger or acquisition in any of these cases. And then another very famous joint venture you must have heard about, you must have many times heard this Sony Ericsson, right. Now, Sony Ericsson is a joint venture between Sony and Ericsson. So, in this joint venture was started in 2000, almost 2001 it started, right. And after that, after a point of time when Sony realized how much what Ericsson is bringing to the table and how important it is for it. So, in 2012 what happened? Ericsson got merged with Sony. So, this is a classic example of a joint venture leading to a merger or an acquisition, right. So, joint venture can lead also to a merger, because like we say in marriages, there is a courtship period where the couples understand each other and then they marry. So, in the last class we had discussed about Daimler and Chrysler. Their marriage could not last, their merger could not last, because there were a lot of cultural clashes which were overlooked when we are looking at the financial details. But here just the opposite happened, that after a period of time when they felt that they could coexist and they are more appropriate for working together. So, instead of a joint venture which is it is not so close as a merger, because in merger the entities become one. So, joint venture is a little detached in comparison to a merger. So, these two companies felt that they can now coexist as one. So, they Sony acquired Ericsson. Then coming to the third and the last cooperative strategy, and that is strategic alliance. Now, strategic alliance, what is a strategic alliance? It is a higher degree of detachment than joint venture, right. Merger and acquisitions, companies becoming one in comparison as against two or three, now they become one. Joint venture is for a specific reason companies have come together, and otherwise they exist as different entities. And strategic alliance is totally different. An arrangement between two companies to undertake a mutually beneficial project while each retains its independence, right. So, they are in a joint venture, they are pooling in money many times, they are pooling in resources. Strategic alliance is more withdrawn than joint venture. The companies can cooperate in the manufacturing, development or sale of products and services or other business objective. So, there can be, because it is a cooperative strategy, so there has to be cooperation, there has to be mutual benefit. So, these companies can cooperate in whatever ways and whatever areas this cooperation is required. And the agreement is less complex and less binding than a joint venture in which two businesses pool resource to create a separate business identity. Now, you must understand this thing, right. In a merger, what is happening? Two companies coming together, becoming one. In a joint venture, so their identity is lost. So, in a merger, A plus B, they are coming together, either it totally becomes A, that is B is being acquired by A, or they become a totally separate identity C, right. In a joint venture, what is happening? There are two parties A and B, but they are not pooling everything together. A is bringing in some part of it, B is bringing some part of it, and then there is an entity which is being formed. There is an entity which is being formed. So, a little part of A has given, small b, a little part of B has given, and there is a entity which is being created out of these, right. And what is happening in a joint venture? There is now such entity being created, there is a name which is being given, the resources are being pooled, but there is more independence than in the case of a merger or a joint venture. In a strategic alliance, there is much more independence there. Now, what does a strategic alliance help us? It enables companies to increase resources, productivity and profitability by avoiding unnecessary fragmentation of resources and duplication of investment and effort in R&D and technology. So, most of the things which are there in a joint venture would also apply to a strategic alliance. The only thing is the relationship is lesser and lesser, in a watertight compartment. It is more and more flexible, right. Then, so you can see that they want to increase their profitability, their productivity, and how do they do? By avoiding unnecessary fragmentation of resources. That if I am doing something, if I am putting my money in R&D on a particular thing, for example, looking for the COVID vaccine, then why should you as a company look for it? You look for something else. So, what is happening? Resources are not being wasted, resources are not being divided, resources are not being fragmented by making a strategic alliance. So, like for example, if there is a pharma company, it can enter into a strategic alliance, or there is a research and development company, it can enter into a strategic alliance wherein this R&D company develops the vaccine for COVID, and the marketing sales of it is done by the pharma company, and then they take whatever percentage they have decided to distribute the profits, and after the thing is done, once the COVID has gone, hopefully it goes, God willing, and once it is gone, then they are two different entities. Otherwise also they were two different entities. Now they have no relationship with each other. For the next time, for next some other medicine, some other vaccine, they can again form a strategic alliance. And In a world of fast changing technologies, changing tastes and habits of consumers, escalating fixed cost and growing protectionism, strategic alliance is an essential tool for serving customers. Now, this is very important. This is very important because there are certain reasons why companies will go for strategic alliances. The first is fast changing technologies. Very dynamic environment we are operating. As a result of that, technologies are changing very fast. So if every company is putting my money and effort and time into the same type of technology, what will happen? Nobody is going to benefit, and what after an year or so, again the technology becomes obsolete. So again you start looking for a new technology, you again pool in your resources and everything. So it is better that we go for a strategic alliance, that you work on A, I work on B. Then changing tastes and habits of customers. So customer has become the never satisfied monarch these days. He is ever demanding, he or she is ever demanding, never satisfied, and wants more and more, right? So in that case also, if I think that if I have made a strategy and I can stick to it for a very long period of time, or if I have designed a product and it is successful and I can move with it for a very long period of time, that is not going to happen. So I have to keep on creating and innovating. So in that case, I may as well require resources or ideas and inputs from other companies. So that is also a place wherein this could work. Then escalating fixed cost. Again, this is also very important. Especially in organizations or in business, there is high which are very there's a lot of investment in machines and equipments and technology. There, in that case, the fixed cost keep on increasing, and every day the product is late, the price, the cost keeps on increasing, right? So there, in that case also, a strategic alliance can help you to per unit fixed cost can be brought down. And then growing protectionism. Again, many countries, earlier we were going for the world is one. Now again the times have changed, and every country is trying to protect its own domestic industry, its own people first, and then after that they are going for foreign companies. So as a result of that, it is difficult for companies to move from their own market to another market. So here again a strategic alliance can help, or maybe technology will not be transferred like that from one country to another. So strategic alliance can help us in that. So this is how it is helpful for any company to move ahead with its business. Now I'll give you certain examples of strategic alliances, and this is one example. Because here when I speak, you may be confused with the spellings. So I have written that down: Boeing, Aerospatiale of France, then British Aerospace, then Construcciones Aeronauticas of Spain, and Deutsche Aerospace of Germany. These are 5 companies before you, right? And what are these 5 companies? They are Boeing. So I'm sure that you must be familiar by the name Boeing, right? And rest of the companies, they have this word aerospace somehow or the other mentioned in their name. So you know that these are all in the aviation sector. So these aeroplane manufacturers have created an alliance to spread out the extremely high cost of developing a new large jet plane. So if you remember, in the last slide we had spoken about escalating fixed cost. If these organizations, they start developing on individually everything, right, then it will take a lot of time and it will take a lot of money. They will have to spend a lot of money in creating an aircraft. So they have pooled in resources, they have combine together. They are separate companies, but for a specific purpose they will come together, do it, and then they will move on with the rest of their business. So, they have created an alliance to spread out the extremely high costs of developing a new large jet plane. Then there are other examples of strategic alliances also, like for example, you are familiar with this, especially youngsters, Spotify. Spotify is what? Spotify is an digital music streaming app. You can listen music to you for your recreation or whatever. So, it is meant for that purpose. Now, Spotify and Uber also, you know, Uber have, now Spotify is a Swedish company, Uber is an American company. They have a strategic alliance. Now, what is the strategic alliance all about? They are totally different companies, nothing related to each other, but they have a strategic alliance, and it is like this, that in certain countries, and I do not think it is available in India as of now, but in many countries, if somebody is having, and there are two types of accounts you can hold on Spotify. First is the free account, and then there is a premium account. So, if you have a premium account on Spotify, then what happens that your data is shared with Uber. So, when you book a taxi, a vehicle through Uber, so what happens, once you sit in the car, your favorite playlist which is there with Spotify, it starts playing automatically, right. So, it is an added delight for the customer, right, and it is like, it is helping these both these companies to satisfy their customers in a much better way. So, the companies totally into different markets doing nothing similar, but they are able to satisfy their customers in a better way. So, and if you want to listen to certain songs while you are going you are for a ride on Uber, then in that case you can just, after you book Uber, you can just create a new playlist and save it, and the same will be played while your journey is on. So, that is a pleasure which is available for the customers. Then there is this very famous, I am sure everybody has heard about this, Starbucks, right. So, this is a coffee, very famous place for getting together, having a nice cup of coffee, and it is again a US based brand or a company. And then there is this company, Barnes and Nobles. Now, this is a bookstore. This is a bookstore, right? Very famous bookstore. Now, they have again both these have a strategic alliance. And what kind of alliance is that? That in almost every Barnes and Noble store, there is a Starbucks cafe outlet also. And what happens, that when the anybody customer wants to have a nice break, wherein he wants to read at peace and also relax with a cup of coffee, then that is the best bet. And what is it leading to? It is leading to both the companies being able to synergize. They have been able to synergize. Their businesses are totally different, nothing in common, neither, I mean, they are selling the products, common products, but as a result of that, they are able to increase the footfall of the customer for each other. If somebody wants to have a cup of coffee, then they would have to visit to this store, and if somebody wants to have some books, they will have a look at the Starbucks. So, they can help each other to mutually sell. So, and it gives a delight to the customer, and as a result of this, in these times when people have moved to online bookstores, their it is a very good, it is an advantage for Barnes and Nobles also, because it has been able to survive just because it has created this strategic alliance which has led to this innovation. So, this finishes with the cooperative strategies. We have already discussed mergers and acquisitions, and in this class we have discussed joint ventures and strategic alliance. I hope that you have understood the concept. Thank you so much.